5 murders officially linked, more claimed. The true number may never be known. More than 30 letters attributed to the Zodiac. 4 ciphers. 1 took 26 days to crack. 1 took 51 years. He signed his letters with a symbol before anyone knew his name. After the Blue Rock Springs attack, he called the Vallejo Police Department and claimed responsibility for both that shooting and the earlier Lake Herman Road murders. 56 years later, no one has ever been charged. Who was the Zodiac Killer? It all began on December 20th, 1968. Lake Herman Road connected Berryessa and Vallejo, 12 minutes of empty asphalt that teenagers used as a makeout spot because there were no streetlights for miles. David Faraday was 17. Betty Lou Jensen was 16. It was their first date. Just before 11 p.m., a second car pulled in behind them. No one knows what was said. Faraday never got out of the car before he was shot. Jensen made it 10 feet before she was hit 5 times. By the time a passing motorist found them, both were dead. Vallejo police had a double homicide with no motive, no suspect, and no weapon. They filed it as an isolated case. They had no way of knowing it was the first page of a file that would eventually run past 2,000 pages. 6 months later, on July 4, 1969, a car pulled into a lover's lane at Blue Rock Springs, 4 miles from where Faraday and Jensen died. Darlene Farron was 22. Michael Mageau was 19. A man in a second car approached on foot with a flashlight, shining it directly into their eyes before opening fire. Farron was killed. Mageau survived, barely, and gave police the first physical description of the man who would later call himself Zodiac. Less than an hour after the shooting, a man called the Vallejo Police Department. He calmly reported the shooting himself, then gave the exact location of an earlier unsolved double murder 6 months prior. He was connecting his own crimes before police had connected them. 3 weeks later, on August 1, 1969, 3 letters arrived on the same day at the Vallejo Times-Herald, the San Francisco Chronicle, and the San Francisco Examiner. Each contained details only the killer could have known. Each ended with the same symbol, a circle bisected by a cross, a human crosshair. Each letter also contained a portion of a cipher, 3 separate pieces of an encoded message split across 3 newspapers so no single outlet could solve it alone. He demanded the ciphers be printed on the front page. If they weren't, he threatened to kill again and kill more. The papers complied. Overnight, 3 of California's largest newspapers had become the killer's unwilling publishers. He wasn't just communicating with police anymore, he was controlling the public conversation. On September 27, 1969, Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were having a picnic at Lake Berryessa, in full daylight, far from any road. A man approached across the open field wearing a black executioner's hood with clip-on sunglasses over the eye holes and the crosshair symbol stitched over his chest. He carried a gun and pre-cut lengths of clothesline. He told them he'd escaped from a Deer Lodge, Montana prison and needed their car and money. Then he tied them up and stabbed them both repeatedly while they were bound. Brian Hartnell survived the attack. Shepard died 2 days later. Before leaving, he walked to their car and wrote on the door in black marker the dates of his prior attacks and a final line: Vallejo, December 20th, 1968. July 4th, 1969. September 27th, 1969, 6:30 p.m. By knife. It was the only time he left physical evidence of his own handwriting at a crime scene in plain sight. On October 11, 1969, cab driver Paul Stine picked up a fare near Union Square in San Francisco. His destination was a quiet residential corner in Presidio Heights. Witnesses, teenagers watching from a window across the street, saw the passenger shoot Stine once in the head, then calmly step out of the cab. He tore a piece of Stine's bloodied shirt and wiped down the door handles. A radio dispatch error described the suspect as black, when witnesses had described a white man, sending patrol units in the wrong direction while he walked away on foot. He was never seen again after that night. 4 days later, a new letter arrived. Inside it, the torn piece of Stine's shirt. He wasn't just claiming the murder, he was proving it. By the end of 1969, the Zodiac had killed at least 5 people that police could confirm, and claimed in his letters to have killed 37. Investigators never verified that number, but they couldn't disprove it either. Tip lines in San Francisco and Vallejo received thousands of calls. Reported sightings came from as far away as Nevada and Oregon. Most tips led nowhere. Every one still had to be checked, cross-referenced, and ruled out by hand, years before computer databases existed. The volume of false leads became, in its own way, a weapon. It buried the real evidence under noise the killer himself had helped create. Investigators eventually confirmed 4 Zodiac ciphers. Only 2 have ever been solved. The first, 408 characters long, split across 3 newspapers, was cracked in less than a week by a Salinas schoolteacher and his wife, working at their kitchen table with pencil and paper. What it revealed wasn't a name, it was a boast. That killing was more satisfying to him than anything else, and that he expected to keep doing it without consequence. A second cipher, 340 characters, resisted every attempt for 51 years. Military cryptographers tried. The National Security Agency tried. Amateur code breakers online tried for decades. In December 2020, it was finally broken. Not by a single genius, but by 3 independent code breakers from the United States, Belgium, and Australia, working the puzzle together online without ever having met. The message inside had no name, no address, only more taunting, including the claim that death led to paradise. 2 more ciphers remain unsolved to this day. Over 5 decades, police compiled a suspect list running into the hundreds, yet one refused to disappear. Arthur Leigh Allen. A former acquaintance reported him in 1971, describing statements Allen had allegedly made about a plan for random killings and pointing to items found in his van, including knives and a flashlight matching descriptions from Blue Rock Springs. In 1991, DNA testing existed but was still primitive. In 2002, after Allen had already died, more advanced testing was run on envelope flaps and stamps. The DNA didn't match him. It also didn't definitively clear him. The samples were degraded, and multiple people likely handled the letters before they were tested. Handwriting analysts were split. Some said Allen's writing matched the killer's. Others said it didn't. He was never charged. He died in 1992. Other names have surfaced since, some pushed hard by amateur investigators, others by relatives making public claims. Documentaries have named at least 4 different men as definitively the Zodiac. None of those claims has held up to forensic or legal scrutiny. The Zodiac case has never been closed. Vallejo Police Department and the San Francisco Police Department both still classify it as active. Physical evidence, the envelopes, the car door panel from Lake Berryessa, DNA samples, is preserved, and per California law, can be retested as forensic technology improves. In the last 5 years alone, independent teams have applied facial recognition, updated DNA phenotyping, and machine learning handwriting comparison to the case. Each attempt has generated headlines. None has produced an arrest. 2 ciphers remain unbroken. Whatever they say, if they say anything at all, no one alive has read it yet. More than half a century after Lake Herman Road, the file is still open. The questions the killer left behind are still unanswered, by design. Who was the Zodiac Killer?